Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important articles that appeared in our today's Hindi newspaper. First of all, I'll let you know important topics of the day, and later on we are going to see each and every topic in different dimensions, and at last I'll be giving you prelims practice questions so that you can understand how questions can be asked from that area. Okay, let us see the topics of the day. The first one is Vijay wins floor test with 144 votes. AIADMK divided. So this article is talking about floor test. We are not going to see which political party voted in favor or against. That is not your business. So just see about what is this floor test. And here you have to see some constitutional provisions related to chief minister. Okay, and that is one important theme which asked by UPSC many a times in your prelims. This topic is important from your polity point of view. And next topic is center doubles the import duty on gold, silver. Move is criticized as retrograde. This article is talking about import duty on gold and silver. So here you have to see about from which countries we are importing gold and what exactly is the meaning of import duty, why government will be imposing import duty, and next you have to see why government now increases this import duty. Government is saying that there is widening of current account deficit. So here you have to see what is that current account deficit also. So these are very important from your economy point of view from GS paper 3. And next topic is INCOIS expands coastal flood monitoring to tackle Kallakadal surges in Kollam. So this article is talking about one early warning system. It is focusing on flood monitoring across this Kerala coast. So here you have to see why INCOIS came up with this and what exactly is that INCOIS you have to know. And because of this kind of early warning system, what are the advantages we are going to get in future? We have to think about it. So this topic is important from geography and as well as from disaster management point of view. And next topic is Nicobar is opposed proposal for 3 wild sanctuaries. So this article is saying that in Andaman and Nicobar, government wants to come up with 3 new wildlife sanctuaries. But Nicobares, which is a tribal group present in that area, they are strongly opposing this move. Here you have to see what are these wildlife sanctuaries. In your environment and ecology in basics, you will be knowing about national parks, wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserves. So you have to revise that topic. And this topic is important from your environment and ecology from GS paper 3. And next topic is MSP for Kharif crops hiked. Farm groups criticize rates. This article is talking about very important topic called as MSP. Full form of MSP is minimum support price. And many a times UPSC asked repeatedly questions on this MSP. I'll tell you how they asked questions and how you have to tackle that questions. This topic is important from GS paper 3 under economy. So all these are the topics now we are going to discuss. Apart from this, in your editorial page entirely that editorial session is filled with elections and as well as result. And next one is US and Iran issue. Already we discussed that topic number of times. Okay, leave that today. Okay, read out this title guys. Vijay wins floor test with 144 votes. AIADMK divided. So here the keyword is floor test. You will be studying about this floor test. Actually, it is talking about chief minister, right? That means in your state legislature topic of your polity, you will be studying about this floor test. What exactly you need to know here? First of all, you have to understand what is this floor test and what happens if floor test is passed or not passed. And next you have to see what are the provisions related to this floor test and when this floor test is conducted. So these are the areas that you have to know. And how UPSC can give a question? Consider the following statements regarding floor test. And they'll give you 2 to 3 statements and they may ask you which of the above statements are correct or incorrect. That is a one possible question. And second possible question is from Chief Minister, guys. Consider the following statements regarding Chief Minister or state legislative assembly elections. And they may give you statements and they may ask you to identify correct or incorrect statements. In this way, you can expect a question from this area, guys. Okay, now let us see the context. Chief Minister comfortably won the trust vote in Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly. That is nothing but he passed this floor test. If you see some provisions related to Chief Minister is the real executive head. Okay, if you are talking about heads of a state or a country, we have two heads. First one is nominal head. Second one is real head. Nominal is nothing but just for namesake we have that head. For example, you can take president. President is the first citizen of our country and he is just nominal head. He is a rubber stamp because he has to or he or she has to act according to advice of Council of Ministers, right? And who is the real head? Real head will be Prime Minister, or at the state level we have Chief Minister. Okay, so in the heads we have nominal heads and real heads. Nominal head is nothing but only for just namesake, just for rubber stamp. But entire power, everything will be under head of real head. Who is that? At the central level we have Prime Minister, at the state level we have Chief Minister. So Chief Minister is nothing but real executive head of the state. And if you see article related to Chief Minister, we have article 163, 164, 167 and 172. These are very important articles related to Chief Minister. And this time you can expect a question on articles, guys. Even CDS also, they gave articles and they gave match the following related to articles. In the same format in UPSC prelims also you can expect questions. Like they may give you pair based question, on one side important articles, on another side what it is. So which are the articles which are there in news? Article 142, Article 143, Article 324, Article 325, Article 326, Article 200, 201. They are seen highly in news. So because of this, you can expect article based question also. Just revise your current affairs notes related to articles, guys. Okay, if you see about the articles related to Chief Minister, first one is Article 163. It talks about CM heads, Council of Minister, and they will be giving aid and advice to whom at the state level? Governor. And which one is Article 164 says that CM is appointed by the governor and council is collectively responsible to assembly. So this is one repeated theme, repeated PYQ of UPSC. India is a parliamentary form of democracy. That means here executive is accountable to legislature and council of ministers is collectively responsible for assembly at the state level and at the central level it is Lok Sabha. So many times UPSC asked question on this point, guys. Parliamentary system of democracy means executive is responsible for legislature. Okay, and next one is Article 167 says that Chief Minister communicates decision to the governor, and Article 172 says that the state legislative assembly has a 5-year tenure from first sitting unless it dissolves earlier. So which article talks about tenure of state legislative assembly? That is Article 172. You have to remember that 172 for sure. Okay, next one, if you see about the appointment of CM, who will be appointing Chief Minister? Governor. So if UPSC wants to change the statement, what it can give in the place of governor, it will keep who? President. Okay, in the case of Prime Minister, it will be replacing with Governor or Chief Minister. So that is the one trap used by UPSC commonly, changing of names of persons. Okay. And next one is, if you see the tenure of Chief Minister. Chief Minister office is at pleasure of governor. Very important point. And the tenure is not fixed. Why? Because if Chief Minister is losing confidence or majority in the house, obviously he has to resign, right? So because of this, the tenure of Chief Minister is under pleasure of the governor. This is the one more point that you have to remember. And if you see about this floor test is also called as trust vote. It is a constitutional mechanism used to determine whether the executive is enjoying the confidence or not. That means something but majority, whether that person is enjoying the majority or not. So that will be tested by this floor test. Okay, so how this floor test is done? Chief Minister has to move a motion of confidence, and if majority members are voting yes or who are showing support towards that person, then we can say yes, government will survive and that person is having majority in the house. Okay, and if he is not having majority, means what happened? Obviously he has to resign to that post. That is this trust vote or floor test. So when it can be required, the first one here is newly elections done and CM. From this one majority party, one person will be selected as CM, right? So for that person, he has to prove his majority. That is the first one. When it is required, whenever the new assembly elections done, whenever they are forming the new government, in that case, first that person has to prove his majority. That is the first one. Okay, governor asks CM to step down if governor believes CM has lost the majority and invites another candidate for the post while the tenure of legislative assembly is still on, then a floor test should be held. The first one is whenever the new election is done, that new CM has to prove his majority. That is the first one. And second one is if governor is getting any doubt that CM who is there now he's lost his confidence, then governor will ask that CM to resign. At that time also, to prove the majority, CM has to conduct this floor test. That is the second case. And next next means when coalition partners withdraw the support for MLA's defeat. You know this anti-defection law. Whenever the people who shifted from one political party to another political party, if 2/3 of political party merged into another political party, then what happened? Obviously, the majority will be reduced. At that time also, governor can ask chief minister to prove his majority. That is the third case. And next one here is change in government formation. Whenever there is a change of government also, obviously at that time also, governor can ask to prove majority. And next one is whenever house is in session also, speaker has authority to call for a floor test. Okay, so that is the thing guys. You have to remember all this criteria when this floor test is asked to prove. Floor test is nothing but proving of majority or confidence. So these many MLAs are supporting that person. That is the floor test. And always, if you want to pass this floor test, we need to have the 50 plus 1. Okay, 50% plus 1. And see this next article guys, read out the title. Center doubles the import duty on gold, silver. Move is criticized as retrograde. So what is the keyword here? Import duty. Keyword is import duty. Now what exactly this article is saying? Import duty had been increased on which products? Gold. On this gold and silver, import duty had been increased. Where will you study about these imports? In your economy, especially in this chapter of trade, we will be studying about imports and as well as exports. Okay, so here what are these imports? What are the meaning of imports? For example, our country. Every country in the world is not self-sufficient. They will be depend on another country for the products so that they can satisfy the needs of the people. Yes or no? If we want to satisfy the needs of people, do we get all the products from our country? Somewhat imported goods? Yes or no? That should be got from other countries, right? So here if you take in case of India, there are some resources which are not available in our country, even available they are very less in number. So that we will go to other countries and we will bring from other countries. Which are those products? You can see about oil. Yes, 80% of oil we'll import from other countries and even gas. Next one is gold, silver, critical minerals, semiconductors, electronics, technology related to environment. So all these things we will get from other countries. If you are getting products from other countries into India, they are called as imports. Then what are exports? If you are sending goods from India to other country, they are called as exports. Okay, that is the basic difference between imports and exports. Now what is happening here is, we are producing some goods in our country. For example, we are producing pens, we are producing mobiles. Even though we have craze about mobiles which are produced from other countries, yes or no? For example, Samsung is an Indian brand. For example, iPhone is an Indian brand. For example, MI. So these are other country products which are having craze in India. But even though we are producing those goods in our country, Indian products are having less craze compared to that of coming from outside. Yes or no? Everyone wants to have an iPhone or like Samsung or Realme, like that. So other country brands, even cars also you can take. So different cars are produced in other countries and they are having craze in India. If you see in especially cars here, we have many brands like Toyota. Any other examples? Ferrari. Next. Jaguar, like that. So those are not Indian brands. But even though Indians are buying that and there is increased craze for that so and so car brands, right? Okay, let us take one scenario. Let us take example of car. In India, we are producing a car. And here we are importing a car from other countries. Different brands of car we are importing to our country. Then what happens if other country cars are entering into our Indian market? What about the demand for Indian made car, increased or decreased? Obviously, there will be decreased demand for Indian car because of it may be technology, it may be advancements, it may be features it is providing, everything. Take all this into consideration, and here if we are importing more other country products into our country, whatever the products we are producing in our country, demand will be obviously decreased. Yes? Okay, if our country products are decreasing with demands, then what happens? The companies which are producing that will get profits or losses? Loss. Because other country cars we are buying more than compared to that of Indian made cars. So Indian company owners will be getting losses. And will these companies produce more or less? If there is less demand, obviously they will produce less. If they are producing less, what is the contribution to GDP? GDP contribution will be less. Is that good for a country? And India is a very ambitious country. It wants to become the third largest economy, 5 trillion economy by 2047. And Viksit Bharat, if this goes on, is that good for our country? No. Then what our country will do is to protect our Indian companies, whatever the products we will import from other countries, on which it will impose tax on imports. That is called as import duty. Are you understanding? So to protect our domestic companies and to protect domestic production, to protect citizens and Indian economy, India will be imposing taxes on imports. If you are imposing the tax, then what happens? The price will be increased or decreased. For example, let us say Indian car prices, for example, 100 rupees to make you understand. So for example, foreign car is like 100 rupees only, same price. If these Indian car is for 100 rupees and other country car is 100 rupees, obviously Indian people minds it how it will be same cost. I will be buying foreign brand, yes. So what happens here is, now if you are adding tax of, for example, 30%, what will be the amount now? It will be increased to 130 rupees. If 100 rupees car is of Indians and 130 rupees car of foreigners, they are in the same market. Obviously, what will be the mindset of Indians? Same features, everything, it is 100 rupees, let's buy Indian, right? So in that way, whenever tax is imposed on these imports, then what happens? Our government will be protecting our domestic production, domestic companies, that will lead to increased contribution to our GDP. Are you understanding here? So this concept is called as import duty. Now, okay, now one more important concept you have to understand. Now you know what is import duty to protect our domestic companies. And next one is, if you are importing more, if we are importing more to our country, what happened? Will they import for free of cost? Will other country provide cards for free to India? No. So we have to, what we do? We have to pay now or later. It may be like immediate payment system or credit based system. But ultimately we have to pay for that goods. So if you are doing international trade, will they accept Indian rupees? Indian rupees will they accept? No. So we have to pay in foreign currency to that goods. Then what happened? Whatever the forex reserves we have in our country will be reduced or not? Yes. Okay, that is one problem here is reduction of or reducing of foreign reserves in our country if imports are more. Okay, yes? Yes or no, will you accept it or not? And second important thing you have to see is, India is good in exports or taking imports? Tell me, India is good in exporting or in taking more? India is good at exporting also. Which goods will export more? Which goods will export? India is primarily agriculture economy. We will export food grains. Yes, accepted. And next, India is very good at pharmaceutical industry, especially Hyderabad, Mumbai, Pune, especially Pune and Hyderabad, they are pharmaceutical hubs. We are exporting pharmaceutical products, means nothing but syrups, medicines, tablets, everything. Okay, next. We are exporting some textile goods because India is good at textiles, cotton. Next. But what we are importing? We are importing what? Crude oil, which is costly, and that too very large amounts. We are importing gold. Gold is favorite of every Indian woman. We can't remove that thing for sure, even after decades also. We are importing gold, silver, and we are importing diamonds, and we are polishing it. Do you know Surat is the capital of polishing of diamonds in India? So after that, we are again exporting the jewelry. Yes. So here the problem is, we are importing more costlier goods compared to that of our exports. If you are importing more costly goods, we have to pay more or less. For example, take 1 kg of rice we are exporting. What will be the normal cost of kg of rice? At least take 40 rupees. If you are importing uh, 10 grams of gold, how much it will cost? 1,50,000 now? 1,65,000. So what is the difference here? Are you understanding? So here imports are very costly compared to exports. So that what happened? What are the money we will be getting from other countries is less than outgoing money. Income is less and expenditure is more. So this is causing current account deficit. Current account deficits are nothing but imports are more compared to exports. So now the present government is saying one reason that there is increasing of current account deficit now. So because of this, we want to control import of gold and silver. We have to reduce the import of gold and silver. Because of this, we are increasing import duty on this gold and silver. Why this current account deficit is increasing? You know, West Asian crisis, we are importing more and more oil for our daily use. Because of increased price of oil in the market, we are already paying more for our imports. And if you are importing gold and silver means our burden will be furthermore increased. So because of this, we want to control gold and silver imports for some time. You want to fold that. So because of this, government is increasing import duty on gold and silver. Understood the story? So this is the entire story that you need to know to understand this. So now you know everything. So what is your duty? You have to understand what is import duty and what is the impact. That's it. Understood the story? Yes? Okay. Now if you see this infographic, you can understand how much they are increasing. So they are increasing, earlier it is 5%, now they are doubling. That means 10% of import duty they are imposing on this gold and silver, guys. Okay, that is the thing. Okay, let us see about gold import. So how can you get a question? How can you expect a question? They may ask you about imports. Yes or no? Which of the following are the largest imports of the country? And they'll give you 4 to 5 and they ask you which of the above are correct. Yes? So here you have to make the list of costlier imports of India which is causing current account deficit. That is the first thing. And second one is you have to understand like from which countries we are importing gold. Yes, because if you see PYQs, they asked in this way. In 2024, even 2025 also they asked question like lithium country, coffee country, nickel country, cobalt country. This time they may ask gold country. Possible? So like that you have to see this. And next one is you have to say about what is custom duty and which are the laws governing imposition of custom duty in India. That is also a possible thing. And next one is you may get a direct question on custom duties. Okay, clear? So you have to see all those things, guys. Okay, if you see this India's gold import, India is the world's second largest gold consumer. People is also like second largest, and actually India crossed this China, but official records we didn't get so far. And India is the second largest consumer of gold in the country. Then what is the first? China. China is the first country and India is the second country which are the world's largest gold consumers. And next one here is, if you see from which countries we are importing 40% of gold from Switzerland. From Switzerland, we are importing 40%. And next one is from UAE. UAE contributes 16% of our gold imports. And next one is South Africa is supplying 10%, guys. Please make a note. First one is Switzerland, second one is UAE, and third one is South Africa. And if you see the laws governing gold imports in India, gold imports comes under Customs Act of 1962, guys. And it will come under Central Board of Indirect Taxes and CBIC. I think you might have already kept option in your choice of this one, right? CBDT, IRS. So in that we have indirect taxes. So if you are an officer, you will be the part of this custom duty 1962, and you will be taking care of this. You will be monitoring this gold imports also. Are you understanding here? So in that way you have to remember CBIT will be dealing with this gold imports. And next one is we have Reserve Bank of India and DGFT, that is nothing but Directorate General of Foreign Trade. They will be issuing the notifications related to gold import. How much amount of gold we have to import that year? Do we have any restrictions? Everything will be done by this RBI and DGFT, guys. And now let us see basic custom duty. What is this custom duty? Custom duty is nothing but import duty. Okay, it is a type of tax imposed on what? The goods that we import to our country. Okay, basic custom duty is nothing but it is type of tax that will be imposed on imports. It is levied on import items under Customs Act of 1962. Okay, no need of that remembering of act. Why? What is the reason why we will impose this custom duty? To protect domestic companies from the competition of foreign companies. And next one here is, what is the range of custom duty they can impose? 5% to 40%. And it is dependent on the item category. What is that item? And even country of origin. That means from which country it is coming. And even central government has the power to exempt certain goods from this tax. For example, if we had signed free trade agreement with any other country, then that time obviously that goods have to be exempted. So now the power is present with the central government, even if it don't want to impose any tax on other products. Yes, now the power is there under the hands of central government. Yes. So these are the some basic things that you have to see. Okay, next very important thing, and students who are going to write this 2026 exam, you have to focus on this case. Actually, this trade, exports, imports comes under balance of payment topic of your economy. So, in this balance of payment, we have current account and we have capital account. In this current account will deals with trade. Okay, in this we have visibles and invisibles. Visibles is nothing but they include goods. For example, crude oil, cars, mobiles, computers, gold, etc. Invisible includes we cannot see like services. Okay, we have services, we have income and we have transfers. Transfers are like one way, like remittances, donations, gifts, etc. And here we have capital account. Capital means we are focusing on investments. Okay, for example, we have investments, we have loans and we have bank accounts. They will come under capital account. And students who are writing this year 2026, because of West Asian crisis, remittances had been reduced a lot, and there is a report of government that remittances decreased. So here you may get a question, remittances comes under which of the following? Where is remittances? Here we have remittances. In balance of payment, in current account, in transfers, we have this remittances. So in that way also, from this table you can get a question. Okay, to show that I took this. Okay, what is this current account deficit? So our government is saying only one reason, because of this increasing or widening of current account deficit. Now we are taking this step. What is current account deficit? It occurs when countries' total exports of goods and services and imports. So whenever imports are more compared to that of exports, then that will leads to current account deficit. And India is having widening of current account deficit because we are importing costlier goods, especially oil and gold imports. So because of this, it will be increasing pressure on our forex reserves, etc. Obviously, that will leads to economic instability of a country. And why current account deficit happens in our country? First one is we are mostly dependent on imports. Example is crude oil. And next one is gold imports are very high, and there is very high demand for physical gold in our country because 50% of population is women. That is the main reason. And next one is global commodity prices are also increasing because of geopolitics like Russia-Ukraine crisis, now West Asian crisis. The prices of the goods is not stable in the market, increasing, decreasing. There is a very high volatility. Because of that also, CAD is increasing for our country. And next one is weak export growth. Our exports are slow, and those are like cheap goods we are exporting. But in turn, we are importing very costly and bulk goods. So because of this, CAD is increasing in our country, guys. And what happens if CAD increases? There will be increased pressure on foreign currency. We have to pay more and more dollars. Dollars will go out of the country. That means increase in demand for what? Dollars. And what about this rupee value, increase or decreases? Decreases. That is called as depreciation of rupee. The first impact is depreciation of rupee because of increased demand for dollars. And next one is, obviously, if you are importing costly goods, we have to sell that goods for high cost. That will lead to inflation in the market. Yes. And next one is, we will be having this balance of payment issue. Appu techukodam will be easy, but repaying is difficult, no, with interest. So the same thing here. So balance of payment issue can happen for our country. So these are the impacts of current account deficit. Clear? See this article, guys. NCOIS expands coastal flood monitoring to tackle Kallakadal surges in Kollam. To understand this, we have to draw a map. India is a country with a longest coastline, right? So we have around 11,098 kilometers of coastline. It is a recent updates. In your NCERT, it will be around 7,500 kilometers, but it had been updated. You have to change that number in your NCERTs. We don't know when our NCERTs will be updated, right? Okay, so we have a new coastline. It is around 11,098 kilometers. And India will get rainfall in which month? In which month will get rainfall? Rainy season in India. How many seasons are there? Summer, rainy season, winter season. Remove the spring aside. Okay. Tell me in which season will get rainfall normally? June, July, August will be the months. That is called as monsoon season. Yes or no? In monsoon season, India will get rainfall. What happens in the monsoon season? Here Tropic of Cancer goes in the middle of our country. Yes. During summer season, what happened? Low pressure area is created over this Tropic of Cancer. And in your geography, there is one concept. What is that concept? PGF. Pressure gradient force says that always winds will move from high pressure to low pressure. Yes. So if you consider this as equator, okay. So normally we will be seeing relatively, if you are comparing these two areas, we have low pressure and we have high pressure here. The winds from this equator will move towards this India. And there is one more concept, CF. What is CF? Coriolis force. So Coriolis force is formed because of movement of Earth on its own axis. We have rotation and revolution, right? Rotation, nothing but Earth is moving it's on its own axis from west to east direction, right? So because of this Coriolis force is created. Because of this Coriolis force, what happened? Whenever any moving objects like water or like winds, they will deflect towards right side in northern hemisphere. In southern hemisphere, they will move towards, deflect towards left in southern hemisphere. So here we have northern hemisphere above the 0 degrees, right? So here winds, they will be normally moving in this direction from high pressure to low pressure, right? But because of this Coriolis force, they will be deflecting towards right side. First they will hit what? Kerala coast. Normally on June 1st, this winds will hit Kerala coast. That means in this mainland country, Kerala will be receiving the first rainfall because of this monsoons. Okay. So here now what happened? Whenever winds are coming and touching, whenever they are crossing this water, whenever they are touching the land, they will be having amount of moisture will be more. They will cause heavy rainfall here. Whenever winds are moving in this direction, what happens? Rainfall will be decreases because there is land here, there is no water to supply for this clouds, right? So here what happened? Normally in this Kerala, heavy rainfall will happen because the winds will touch first Kerala. And you know about what happened during this monsoons in 2024, Wayanad landslides because of heavy rainfall. That means this coast of Kerala is under threat during which season? Monsoon season. If the floods happens, landslides happen, is that good for the country? Economic losses will be happening in that state, yes? So to control that, what we have to do, we need to have a proper early warning system. If you are having early warning system, like when the exactly rainfall happens, if rainfall happens in which area it will get like heavy rainfall and how much amount of rainfall we can expect, like that if we know the data early, then we can give alerts to the people so that we can minimize the loss of lives of people and loss of property. For that reason, we have IMD, Indian Meteorological Department, which will be focusing on providing early warning system. Under this we have INCOIS. And now INCOIS came up with what? Early warning system to detect floods across this coast of Kerala. Because of this it is in use. Are you understanding here? Okay, now let us see here. INCOIS expands coastal flood monitoring to tackle Kallakadal surges is nothing but increasing of water level across the coast of Kerala because of this rainfall. Especially Kerala is famous for backwaters. Do you know these backwaters? They are called as Kayals, Vemanan Lake. Along the coast of Kerala, we will be having this kind of waters. So if heavy rainfall happens here, that will be flooding. That will cause especially urban flooding. So here especially we are going to have a flood monitoring system to tackle the surges of water across the coast of Kerala now. Okay, now let us see the context. INCOIS, the full form is Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services. Headquarters is located in Hyderabad. Remember that it is not in Kerala, it is in Hyderabad. INCOIS headquarters is located in Hyderabad, and now it installed second coastal flood monitoring system near Kollam. The first one is also across the coast of Kerala, and now it is a second coastal flood warning system. It had been installed by INCOIS. And what it will see sudden powerful swells. So Kallakadal events are nothing but sudden powerful swell surges, that is nothing but increasing of water. So if suddenly the increasing of water happens, then what happens? It will affect fishing activities and even coastal infrastructure, right? So to identify that, they came up with this flood monitoring system. Now it is the second one. The first one deployed in this Vichigam area. So recently we had this Vichigam port is in use now. So in that area the first one came up, and now the second one is at Kollam region. So if you see some facts regarding this INCOIS. INCOIS is an autonomous organization, works under Ministry of Earth Sciences. Very, very important. And located in Hyderabad, established in year 1999. And what is its work? It will see about ocean information, it will study the oceans, and it will also provide advisory services to the society, industry, government agencies, etc. And it will be focusing on improved research and development in this ocean related studies. Okay. See this next article, guys. Nicobaris oppose proposal for 3 wildlife sanctuaries. Okay, Nicobaris is one tribal group. The possibility of getting question is, they'll give you tribes. Consider the following tribes, 4 to 5 tribes, and they'll ask you which of the above tribes are located in Andaman and Nicobar region. So which of the tribes located in Andaman and Nicobar region? Name. Andamanis, Nicobaris. Next one is Jarawas, Shompen, Sentinelese, and Ong. So these are the 6 important tribal communities located in Andaman and Nicobar regions. And in all these 6 tribal groups, 5 are PVTGs. What are PVTGs? Particularly vulnerable tribal group. But Nicobaris is only tribe which is not PVTG in Andaman and Nicobar. And what is the criteria for these PVTGs? Their population should be less or declining or stagnant. Okay, their population should be less. In that population also, less population also, population should be decreasing of population or stagnant. There is no increase or no decrease. And next one is literacy should be very low. And next one is they have to still depend on primitive technologies. That is nothing but old technologies. And next one is socio-economic development in that people is low. On these 4 criteria, we can decide a tribal group as a PVTG or not. But why these Nicobaris are not called as PVTGs? They are not dependent on primitive technology, but now they are even working in construction activities. They are upgrading to some extent compared to the other tribal groups. So because of that reason, Nicobaris is not categorized under PVTG. Are you understanding? Okay, now government wants to propose or come up with 3 wildlife sanctuaries in areas. Those are Little Nicobar area, Mero, and Menchel Islands. In these 3 island areas, of these islands, they want to come up with wildlife sanctuaries. But these Nicobaris are opposing this move. So just see about what are these wildlife sanctuaries, what are the activities which are allowed and which are not allowed in this wildlife sanctuaries. In your science and technology, I think you might have studied that. Okay, say this next article, guys. Title says MSP for Kharif crops hiked. Farm groups criticize the rates. Okay, what is this article is saying? Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs announced MSP for Kharif crops. So here Kharif crop is repeated theme of UPSC case. So in crops we have three types of crops: Kharif crops, Rabi crops and Ziyad crops. So how they'll give question? Consider the following crops. Which of the above are Kharif crops? Which of the above are Rabi crops? They'll ask only these two, Kharif and Rabi, not Ziyad. In Ziyad season, in Ziyad crops, what they'll go? Just vegetables and fruits they'll grow. But Kharif and Rabi are major. Rabi example is wheat. Kharif example is sugarcane, rice and as well as cotton. Okay, you have to remember those three for sure. In Rabi we have mustard and wheat. Okay, so here who is announcing this? CCEA. And one more is CACP. On this also UPSC asked question 2018 if I am not wrong. Who will announce this? Announcement here done by CCEA. But who will propose this? Proposal done by CACP. Okay, you have to remember that. Don't confuse with. Even today also I will confuse with these two. That's what I am telling. Announcement is done by CEA, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Economic Affairs Cabinet Committee will be announcing this. Here CACP will be recommending this or proposes this. Okay, next one here is, if you see some facts regarding this MSP. What is MSP? Minimum support price. Before farmer sows that crop, government will be announcing the amount at which government will purchase that crop from this farmers. That is MSP, minimum support price. Okay, so how it will be determined? It is recommended by CACP, that is Commission for Agriculture and Prices. So commission will be recommending that we can give this much amount for 1 quintal of rice or 1 quintal of groundnuts or 1 quintal of some pulses like that. Here this commission will be recommending this MSP. And next one is who will announce that? Announcement will be done by this Cabinet Committee. Commission will be recommending, committee will be announcing that. And what is the criteria they will take into consideration? What will be the cost of production of that crop? And next one is demand supply dynamics they will see. And next one is market price trends increasing or decreasing, or like how it is the trade is going on. Based on all those criteria, here CACP will be recommending the price. And here according to some estimates, they are saying that MSP has a fixed 1.5 times the cost of production. That means if the farmer is incurring 1000 rupees to produce that so and so product, so how much MSP he'll get? 1500 rupees he will be getting. Okay, so that is the formula they are using, 1.5 times the cost of production. And how many crops are included here? 22 mandated crops plus 1 is sugarcane. Overall 23 crops will be getting MSP. I think in our last class I showed you questions. In that I said all cereal crops will be getting MSP. There is one statement in one question. It is not all, only 23 crops are getting MSP from the government. Okay, that's it guys. Say this question: with reference to MSP in India, consider the following statements. First one is MSP is announced by Government of India before the sowing season of crops. Next one, MSP is legally guaranteed for all agricultural crops in India. CACP recommends MSP to government, and FCI, Food Corporation of India, plays a role in procurement of certain MSP. Apply technique and tell me the answer. Fast. Online students, tell me answer in the comment box. What is the answer? Huh? 1A. 1, 3, 4. Okay. So here all remove this. If we have two options, always we have to choose more statements. What will be the answer? Actually, Food Corporation of India will buy this crop directly from the farmers, and FCI will use that crop to provide PDS to the people. Okay? So this next one, guys. With reference to INCOIS, INCOIS functions under Ministry of Earth Sciences. It provides tsunami early warning. Its headquarters is located in Chennai. It provides ocean advisory services to fishermen. One? Only one and two. Think. Now, why it is there in news? INCOIS is going for flood warning to give warning to this fisherman only. No, this will be there. No, for sure, fisherman. UPSC has a tendency to change this headquarters. You can see many questions, maximum in 98% questions they'll change headquarters case. That is for sure. If you can see headquarters, you can directly stuck down that for sure because they will change that. I saw around 47 years of questions in almost all questions. Wherever you see this headquarters, you're wrong only. You're not right. Okay, headquarters will be for sure wrong. If eliminate this 3, answer is 1, 2 and 4 because it will be providing advisory services to fishermen. Okay. So these are the important topics that appeared in our today's newspaper, guys. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. And if you start your preparation, you can join our GS Foundation course, guys. And we are providing both on online and offline. And if you have any queries or if you want to know more details of this course, please do contact us on this number 8074765513, or else you can directly visit our academy located in Ashok Nagar, Hyderabad, guys, and you can meet me directly in the office. And I wish you all the best.